Here you can see, once again I open my Visual Studio Code editor and my Chrome browser, and I already create an async function named test, which is empty. So first I'm going to print a statement outside the function. Console.log inside the parenthesis 1 colon message. It's mean this is our first message. Here we are going to understand how await function works, and I'm going to copy the same message and paste it inside the async function, and I'm going to duplicate it 2 times, and also I'm going to change their ID 2, 3 and 4. So first it's going to print our message1 statement, then it's going to call our function test, which is a async function. Then it print our 3 statements inside the async function, and once again I'm going to print in our console another message 5. If I save this file, you can see in my console it print all the messages serially, message 1, message 2, message 3, message 4, message 5. From 2 to 4 they are all from async function. And now I'm going to type await method before the message 3. I already told you what is the meaning of await. Wait and complete the job. Until this work is done, complete our another work. Then it's returned to our await function and check is it finished or not. If finished, then it print message 4. So I'm going to save this file once again. And you can see it's changed our sequence. You can see first it print message 1. Then I call our function test, which is a async function. So it print his first statement 2. Then it print await message, mean message 3. But I also declare our function to wait. As long as it is waiting, the message outside the test function will be printed. So after 3, it's print 5, not 4. As soon as the job is done, it's came back again to check is it work properly or not. If it works properly, then print message 4. So in that way, our await method work in our async function. If we try to run await method without async function, then it's return error. And now I'm going to show you what is the actual use of await method, where and why we use await method. Whenever we try to fetch data from the server, then we need to use await method. So here I'm going to use fetch method, and we learned about it in our previous video. And here I'm going to fetch a JSON data, and I already created a JSON file in my current working directory. Let me show you. Here you can see I create a folder named contain, and inside this folder you can see a JSON file named student.json, and we have 3 records in our file: name, age and city. It's a JSON format. Also you can retrieve fake JSON data from website, basically for testing purpose. So let's back to the index.html file, and now I'm going to use the fetch method. So first I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to remove this line. Const response equal to fetch, and inside the fetch method I'm going to pass my URL content/student.json. So before this fetch function I'm going to use our method await. It's mean I told my function to wait and fetch the complete data from our JSON file. Until the process complete, it's run our next codes. As soon as all work is over, it's returned to the await function and continue with next lines. We know our fetch method return a promise. So I'm going to create a variable. But first I'm going to remove this line. Const student equal to, and once again I'm going to use await method response.json, and we learned about it in our previous video. Basically our fetch method return JSON or text format. So in response we get JSON file, so we need to use .json, and I'm going to return all the data which I retrieved from the JSON file. Return student, and I return student value, and we know our async function return a promise. So first it's going to print message 1, and then it's going to run my function test. It's an async function, so it's going to print message 2. After that we are asking to wait here. After our first await function, I'm going to print another message 3, and also I'm going to create a variable for our function call. Let x equal to test, and I want to print this response in our console. So I'm going to type console.log inside the round braces x. Let's save the code. You can see in my console, as you can see, first it print message 1 and then we call our function test. So it's print message 2 and then I told it to wait. Here I am going to fetch data from server. So it's jumped out of this function and started working on message 4. So you can see in my console section, it print 4 after 2, and when message 4 is complete, we call our x variable. So it's going back to the async function and it get a response from server, and you can see it print our response as a promise, and you can see we have 2 array in our promise and our promise state is fulfilled. After complete the promise section, then it print our message 3. In that way, we use async and await method with our fetch function. And now I'm going to remove all the extra messages. So I'm going to remove all the console section. Now it's looking pretty simple. First we run await function for our fetch content. It will keep waiting until the data comes from the server. And we told our response to wait once again. So I use another await method. Then we return our result. If I save this file, you can see in my console, as a result, we get a promise. And we have 2 array in our promise. Because in our JSON file, we have 2 results. And as you know, we can use then and catch function with promise method. So first I'm going to remove the console section. And also I'm going to remove this variable x. So first we call our test function. If it return promise successfully, then we are going to use then function. And inside the then function, I'm going to create a arrow function. And also I'm going to create catch method after that. Dot catch. Inside the parenthesis, I'm going to create another arrow function. If there is an error in our function, then automatically it run catch function. And now I'm going to save student record in a variable. And our variable name is res data, means response data. And I'm going to print this value in our console. Console.log res data. And if there is an error in our code, our catch method going to print another message, error message. So I'm going to create another variable, error. Inside the arrow function, I'm going to print console.log error. So first we called our async function test, and it return a promise. If promise is fulfilled, then it run then function. And if there is an error in our function, it automatically run catch function. And if I save this file, you can see in my console, it return an array. And if I open this array, you can see it provide JSON object. And if I change file path, so I'm going to remove s from student and save this file, you can see in my console, it print an error 404, means file not found. So it run our catch method and print the error. Now let's see how we can convert so many lines in a one line. I just want to make it one-liner. So first, I'm going to comment out all this line. Mainly we are focused on fetch and await method. So I'm going to return, inside the parenthesis, I'm going to call await method. And I want to return JSON format. So I use .json function. So we make it one-liner. If I save this file, you can see in my console, similarly it return an array. And we have 2 JSON objects inside this array. So here you can see, I convert 3 lines of code into a one line. Let's talk about our last topic, error handling. Basically, we handle our error using catch function. There is a drawback using catch function. When we call test function, every time we need to use catch method to handle the error. So I don't want to use every time. So there is a shortcut to handle it. So I'm going to uncomment all the lines and comment out this return section. Basically we use try or catch to handle this error. So inside the async function, we use try or catch block. In our next video, we will learn more about try or catch. Inside the try block, we type our whole code. So I'm going to move this code inside the try block. It's mean we are trying this code. If it works properly, then it return. And we can access this in our then function. And if there is an error in this try block, then it's automatically run catch block. And inside the catch block, we print our error. So I'm going to move this error message in this block. And I'm going to remove the catch method. and also we need to declare the error variable inside the error block. So whenever we call test function, then we don't need to type catch method to handle the error. And if I save this file, you can see in my console, we can access our data successfully. And if I create an error inside my function, so I'm going to change the response spelling res22ponse, and you can see there is no variable name res22ponse, and we know it's going to return an error. In that case, it will run our catch block. And if I save this file, you can see an error in my console. It print reference error. res22ponse is not defined at test because we do not define this variable in our function. And also it print another message undefined. So you can see how we can handle error using try or catch block. It is pretty similar with try except condition in Python. If there is an error in our try block, then it automatically jump to the catch block and it print our error message. And I'm going to resolve this problem and save this file once again. And now it's worked pretty fine. If you want to print this result in your document section, you can. You can use for loop for that. So I hope now it's clear for you what is async and await method and how we can use it with our fetch method. Thanks for watching this video. See you soon.